NBT Sky. I'm chilling. This is a random thought moment. There was a time not too long ago where Denzel Washington said, "Don't play with me while I'm eating." People ran up on him while he was sitting at dinner with his significant other, and he parallel parked their ass. Now, most people are going to get offended, but I thought this was the most awesome moment outside of the book of Eli. But I thought this was the most awesome moment ever because he validated what I already knew, the importance of being able to eat in peace. Now, say he's a celebrity, yes. He make movies, yes. I feel like the individuals that, excuse my son because he got his headphones on, but I feel like the individuals who walked up on him that day in the restaurant while he was trying to eat is something different. Subconsciously and consciously, he understood, like, you're disturbing my ability to sit down with my significant other and eat peacefully when I provide you with autograph time, movie time, chill time, all of that. This is the thing that I don't like about celebrity shit. They say that we sign up for it, granted. Or they say that they sign up for it, because I'm not a celebrity. They say that they sign up for it. But this only attests to the inability for a regular individual or a non-celebrity individual to control themselves as an adult. Right? Excuse my son. He's somewhere trying to be a celebrity, I guess. Inability as an adult to give another adult space. Now, when you think about that and you go into the type of movies he made, right? We talk about real movies, like don't get hype over the fur type of movies. That's what he was talking about. Don't get hype over the fur. Everybody look at it as it's just a movie. When I looked at the movie, it was totally something different. It was a discussion of how we think, of how we perceive reality, of what we see as value. And that even the most powerful can fall victim to it and end up in a mixy type of position. Right? If you know of Denzel Washington's movies, then you know how it gets mixy. So moving right along, then we go into the book of Eli. And the book of Eli is an even deeper discussion. But this is many years later when the book of Eli comes into place. So why did they pick Denzel Washington? They first and foremost didn't have no choice. They had no choice. That's one. Two, they already understood that it was going to be about 80% of the population who watched the movie who didn't understand what the book of Eli was discussing. The book of Eli was a discussion of multiple dimensions. First and foremost, you have to look at the fact that he had a regular life in the book of Eli. There was a regular life involved, and all was taken. Mind you, he was blind, and the book that he had was in Braille. So let's get that clear. Now, I'm not a super movie buff, but this is one of the movies that held my attention long enough for me to watch it from the beginning and multiple times. So anyway, he was blind in that movie. And so in that movie, the Bible was in Braille. Don't get it confused with throughout the movie. When you move further into the movie, it exposed the power of spirituality in real life. Mind you, Denzel Washington is a black man. There was a Caucasian man, and this has nothing to do with race, but I just want you to think. There was a Caucasian man in the movie, right? Pardon my laundry. There was a Caucasian man in the movie. There was another individual who read Braille, who understood what he understood that nobody else understood, but the person who was able to see, hear, speak, he wanted power over that. Moving right along, you go into another scene in the book of Eli, in this movie, where he ended up stopping at somebody else's house. These were Caucasians. I'm not biased against Caucasians. I'm talking about the movie. These were Caucasians. Because he was blind, his senses was heightened. So he was able to hear higher than everybody else, smell higher than everybody else, and taste higher than everybody else, and feel higher than everybody else, because one of his senses was subtracted. And so when he got to this environment, he understood that they were eating flesh. Now, when I saw eating flesh, I didn't see it as him eating a human being. I seen it as actually eating meat. That's just how I saw it. But that's my own perspective, right? Moving right along. The deeper aspect is that at the end of the movie, he was leaving the earth. His frequency, all that he experienced, his frequency was so high that physically the body was not necessary. The body was dying out, but the soul or the spirit was not. And the only way they could get the proper information came from a melanated individual who sat there and was able to recite every word of the Bible. I'm not Christian. I'm just like, this can happen in any spiritual system, period. It was a discussion of the power of spirituality and religion and how people can try to use it to control. Mind you, if you look in the movie, the individuals that was trying to control populations with the information that he had that was in Braille were Caucasian. Not being funny. Moving right along. The flesh was dying off. But even in that, he was able, or the universe was able to bless him within that situation to add his own book. That way it could not be manipulated. Mind you, when he got to the new world in that movie, and I'm not a movie buff, so don't get it twazzled. When he was able to reach the new world in that particular movie, they relied on a melanated individual to be able to recite the whole entire Bible. So this can happen in any spiritual system. The whole entire Bible, word for word. But he already understood that in that movie, he already understood that he was blessed. And he had the blessings of the universe, and in that he was able to add his own chapter and his own experience. Which means that they didn't even have power over the book. Because even though he was leaving the flesh in that movie, let's get it straight. It was a movie. But in that movie, it was a display of him leaving the flesh and still being blessed with the power to add his own book, which means that they wasn't going to be able to speak or discuss the book without discussing him, without discussing his experience on the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional level. This is power, and it's 90% of individuals that will watch that whole entire movie and not understand nothing that happened in that movie. So I had a spiritual tantrum, a mental tantrum, and an emotional tantrum. But one thing I like about Denzel is that when he drops movies, he usually drops it when it's time for me to have a mental, emotional, and spiritual tantrum. So I'm not even really concerned. It doesn't bother me. It just lets me know, okay, it's time to have a tantrum. I'm gonna have a tantrum. I'm gonna go into devastation, and then I'm gonna be reminded that is important to look into. So, you know, this would be considered an old movie. But in order to go into other movies that's produced by us, that's one of the movies that I would say that we would go back into. I would go back into it. Before I look at another movie in reference to our abilities to tap in. Because throughout the movie, you have to understand that, remember, he was blind. He could not see anything. He was given help, but even in that situation, the help, he challenged it first. Let's get it twisted. To make sure she was standing on 10. People look at things like this. Even when you look at the X-Men movie. Let's think about the X-Men movie. The X-Men movie was a display of our power indirectly, and the person that starred in the X-Men movie ends up passing away from some type of colon cancer that wasn't even valid. And nobody told him it wasn't even valid. But I'm not even going to move on. So, why they couldn't play with him like that? Why they couldn't play with Denzel like that? Because he's conscious and subconscious enough to understand that you can't even play with him when he's trying to have a meal. Think about that. You can't play with him when he's trying to eat. So you can't play with him like that. And I'm not even a movie buff. It takes a lot to get Sky to actually watch an entire movie from front to start. You cannot even play with Denzel Washington when he's eating, home. So you wasn't about to play with him on no other level. It's just that simple. And I've never personally met him. I've met a lot of celebrities that people do not even know. Celebrities don't even know that I met him. I met him though. I've met him. You can't even play with him at dinner. So you wasn't about to play with him like that. So when we look at the vibration, you know, we get into particular aspects and realms of reality where we can't speak to our people. So we speak to our people through our art, whether it's numerology, tarot, bone throwing, Ifa, Santeria, hoodoo, voodoo, voodoo, movies, artwork, poetry. That's who we are as a collective, and it's not going to change. There's nothing on the planet that's going to change it. When we can look at art, you know, even music, when we can look at that on a deeper level, then we are who we say we are. Listen to what they're saying on a deeper level, and then you won't see them. You won't see people as tyrants. You won't see people as violent. You won't see people as violating. You won't see it as a disrespect. Whether it's music, emotions, mentally, you won't see it that way. I'm sure that there's people that seen the Book of Eli as a disrespect. I did not. I don't watch many movies, but I watched it about 2 or 3 times. It was important. I haven't shared it with anybody, but I'm sharing it with y'all. But I'm selfish, honestly. Because I know that there's 90% of the population that did not understand that whole entire movie and the travel within it. Anyway, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Deuces.